Hey friends, time for another breadcrumbs video. Today's reading, we actually read through the whole book of the Song of Solomon, or the Song of Songs. And so I don't think we've done a breadcrumbs that has been an entire book in the Bible, but here we go. So a couple things about this book I just want to kind of state up front. There's a number of ways you can read this. The literal way is just this is the king and his bride talking about their relationship and their marriage and their intoxication with one another, and it's a celebration of their union. You could look at this book, the second way you could look at this book is a celebration of married love, and it's an honoring of marriage, it's an honoring of romance, an honoring of sexuality. And I would just say this, that, obviously God invented marriage, God invented human sexuality, and I think for too long in the church we've talked about sex as a bad word, and we've taught shame along with the idea of purity. The truth is that obviously sexuality is to be honored and celebrated within the confines of the covenant of marriage, but we need to teach the beauty of it and the joy of it, the celebration of love between a husband and a wife, and the life that results from that union is positive. Before there was any sin in the earth, the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. And so marriage and human sexuality are an important part of God's plan for creation. And we need to teach and uphold the perspective that it's good. God looked on what he created and said it was good. And so it would be a mistake for us to look at this and say it is bad. We need to honor and respect the boundaries through which God designed that relationship to be celebrated and experienced. And so that's the second way to look at the Song of Songs, is God's stamp of approval on the beauty of human relationships in marriage and sexuality and romance. And God designed us that way. Finally, the third way you could look at this is as an allegory. Jesus is the bridegroom, and this is a picture of Christ and the church. That obviously the bride of Christ is an identity that is given to the church in the New Testament, and Jesus is given the role of bridegroom in the New Testament. And so you could look at this for some insight into our relationship and our longings for him and his longings for us. And I think this is a very deep book. It's a beautiful poem, some very beautiful language. And I would just say, that's what was moving in my heart, was just thinking about the idea that Jesus doesn't just tolerate us. He really loves us. And as a king, he's pursuing us, and we can move his heart. I think in this loving relationship, we've talked before in the Bread for the Journey about the one thing, right? That when we were talking about King David in Psalm 27:4, one thing I've desired, to gaze on your beauty and to dwell in your house forever. And the story of Mary and Martha, and Mary choosing to sit at Jesus' feet and listen and experience that relationship. And Jesus said to Martha, Mary's chosen the one thing, and it's not going to be taken from her. One thing is required. And I think the Song of Songs celebrates that one thing. And that one thing is the beauty of our King. It's the beauty of the greater Solomon, King Jesus, the son of David, who rules and reigns forever. He's more fairer than 10,000. And this is a book that describes the beauty of the king, the beauty of his kingdom, the celebration of that relationship. And I just think that those are the three primary ways to really look at the Song of Songs. And so as you go through today's reading, just pray that the Holy Spirit will highlight to you revelation, wisdom, and understanding in that book. Maybe you've never read this book before. Maybe you've read it 100 times, but I find this is one of those times when the Lord just moves by the Holy Spirit and highlights certain passages for us to meditate on. And so take your time as you read through the Song of Songs, and may the Lord bless you as you think about all that God is saying through this amazing piece of literature that was penned thousands of years ago, and yet we're still drawing on the truth and the beauty and the wisdom that the pages contain. So God bless you, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.